Hello, and welcome to our Laker Lessons presentation today. My name is Willie Michael, and I'm the Assistant Director of Student Organizations in the Department of Campus Life. Today, I want to introduce our guest speaker. I'm honored to introduce you to Ms. Ashley Kekula. She is the AmeriCorps Program Director in the Department of Student Life here at Clayton State University. Ashley is a 2017 alum of Clayton State University, where she majored in communications and mass media with the concentration in broadcasting. Currently, Ashley is attaining her master's in strategic leadership development and is the owner of her nonprofit media group, AK Coverage. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Ashley Kekula.
Thanks, Will. So, can y'all hear me pretty good? You think I need the mic? No? Keep the mic? Okay, all right. So, like Will said, my name is Ashley Kekula. I'm the AmeriCorps Program Director here at Clayton State. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about my journey from my undergraduate year here at Clayton State to becoming the AmeriCorps Director, which was like maybe a 2-year gap. So like he said, I graduated in 2017, spring 2017. I was a communications and media studies major. With that, I kind of wanted to be a news reporter. I wanted to get into anchoring, and then I did an internship with PBS my senior year, and I realized that's not what I wanted to do. I don't like, with anchors, you just sit there and you read on the teleprompt, and it was just kind of boring. So I realized I didn't want to get into anchoring, but I did want to stay in the communications and media field. So I tried to figure out ways what I could do. So you guys watch like Entertainment Tonight? No, y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, so stuff like that, like a host, a correspondent. I like the fun stuff. I like to be out there, with the people on the red carpet. So I figured, let's do that. So I started going to a lot of networking stuff, and I realized that a lot of the events that I was able to kind of get my foot in were a lot of community service events. So it was like, I started with Hosea Feed the Hungry. They wanted hosts for like just their regular events or whatever. They just wanted to host, or they wanted someone to interview people who were donating and stuff like that. And I've always been big in service. When I was at Clayton State, I was an AmeriCorps member for 3 years, and that's kind of where most of my service came from, besides just doing community service growing up. My mom, she's a pastor, so I always was doing community service every weekend. So when I started doing the community service events with Hosea, I started doing community service events with my church, and just actually began to put my foot out there with just talking to people, right? And so this was right after I graduated, so this was 2017. I got this offer to go to, Lord, I can't remember. It was ABC Channel 2 News, right? Not to be an anchor though. They just wanted, it was some little program. They wanted me to come in and be like in this focus group. And you get something like that right after graduation, you're like, okay, I might be going somewhere, I might be getting there. I get there, and y'all know what they told me? What did they say? Guess what they told me? No, for real, guess what they told me? Just the man told me. Huh? No, it wasn't about money. It was a hint. They were telling me, basically, it's something about like my appearance or my persona, what I give when I come to a building or something like that. Huh? Clothes. What? Not braids. It's something about physical. And last guess. I was too dark. Yeah. And when he told me, I didn't really realize at the time, granted this is an African American man, so I'm like, that's weird, that's suspicious. But I was just like, okay, I don't know if he was kind of coming out of like trying to help me, but I don't know how that was gonna help me at the moment because I can't change my complexion, right? So that kind of turned me away from media. I was like, I don't want to be in the public eye anymore. So I just started doing more community service, just because that's what I like to do, and doing more events and stuff like that. And for me, service is really important because I feel like everyone has a certain place on this earth to do something for someone else, and because a lot of us are so, we have so much, it's nothing you can just give to people. So service has always been big for me, and so coming here to Clayton State and becoming the AmeriCorps Program Director, I kind of took it to heart, because for me, when I was in AmeriCorps, my coordinator she did everything. She treated us like we were her own children, and she kind of made service fun. And I think that's the big part, making service fun. And for me, I think I was still able to see how I could make service fun, but also kind of get, students engaged and encouraged about doing for other people. And so I came here to Clayton State. This was 2018, and my first year, I was trying to get my feet wet. I came in the middle of the year, so it was tough because a lot of students didn't know me. And then also, it was 2018, so I just graduated. I was around the same age group, a lot of the students that I was, their coordinator. So it was weird because it's like, the respect level kind of wasn't there, but at the same time, I kind of have to tell you what to do, but it was weird. We're the same age, so I kind of try to shift my focus to just the job, right? Just doing service. And that's kind of where I found my love more for it, and that's where my, Mr. Will was saying, I started my own nonprofit called AK Coverage. And AK Coverage is basically a platform where I let small business owners or community partners kind of introduce their business, introduce themselves, and just give them that time. So I'm able to just interview people. So I interview artists, I interview business owners, anybody who really wants to interview, honestly, to put themselves out there. I have that platform for them. And then I also have a service aspect to AK Coverage where I host a back to school bash every year for the community, free of charge, free school supplies, free like the bouncy houses, food, everything. And so this July will be the 4th one. So that's really good. You're welcome. Thank you. No, seriously. And for me, AK Coverage for me is like my outlet to still do my communications, still my passion for communication, still have that, but at the same time give back, because service is so important to me. And going to work every day, because I am in a field where my job is finding service opportunities for my students and doing community service whenever. But I don't want to get just tired of just doing service. So AK Coverage gives me that outlet to really just find service wherever I want to do, but give service to other people, if that makes sense. So I see y'all guys. So, okay, my first question, and if y'all were listening, I said it about twice, because I got giveaways and I want to give y'all some stuff. So what year did I graduate from Clayton State? I think I saw him. 2016? 17, okay. You can get a giveaway. Okay, the next one. Oh, you can pick. Okay, and what year did I start my nonprofit, AK Coverage? 2018, good job. Oh, this is a U.S. What's your name? Dorothy. Congratulations, Dorothy. All right, we'll do some more prizes later. So for me, since I want to talk about my journey to service, do you guys do community service? No, most of you people in this crowd are here. So tell me, what is a one service project that kind of changed your perspective on why you should do service? And I'll tell y'all mine. Anybody? You got one, Jess? So one service project that you feel changed your perspective on service, on community service, why you should do it. I'll go both. Go ahead. Speak up. I said speak up. Or you want to come get the mic? Thank you, Jack. Chris.
I can talk about an experience when I was in AmeriCorps. And actually, I think it was like our very first service project. When I used to think about service, I thought more hands-on and actually like directly affected, individuals. However, the service project that we were doing was going around, in the neighborhood and just handing out flyers. And I didn't necessarily understand like the whole purpose behind handing out flyers, but it took my program director to kind of explain, like, it may seem minuscule to me, I may not feel that it's effective, but the flyers that we were handing out was a neighborhood market with, that population in that neighborhood could go get, vegetables and produce and like little small things, but at a very low price. So it made me think about like giving back its different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be like hands-on directly, affecting someone and you're not necessarily going to see the results immediately, but, every little small thing,
Count. Yep. 9. You get to 9.
I guess it will be next year. Those who don't know what next year is, just went and sorted medical supplies that will get shipped out to hospitals or clinics that need supplies. And I say next year because they would tell us how many people we were affected by how much we sorted that day. And it's a lot of medical supplies that go to waste and no one uses. And it's a lot of countries that really need those things. And we don't think about that living in this country because it's not the same. Like, it's countries that really have a fraction of what we have here in those ways.
Thank you. Okay. And then anybody else?
So I participated in your most recent back to school bash.
Oh, did you?
And when we were outside holding up the posters and letting people know that there were free school supplies and book bags for kids, there was one lady that she didn't have any school supplies for her kids, and it just makes you feel good that you can be a blessing at the right time for somebody and not knowing that you can help them out so much.
Right, exactly. And I wanted y'all to do that because I think when you do so much community service, especially like if you are in groups like AmeriCorps or in a group that just does community service, it seems repetitive. It seems like you always, you're just going to do the job and get it done. But there's always going to be that one service project or that one person that you meet that kind of changes your perspective on things. And that's kind of where I was getting at, because for me, like you were saying with the back to school bash, every year I do the back to school bash, I always meet a family or someone that is just like, dang, I'm so glad I helped them. Because growing up, my parents were able to give us way more school supplies than needed. I mean, my mom had like a surplus of just paper and pens and pencils and stuff just stocked in our house, just whenever we needed. So, and some kids, when they come to the back to school bash, they have literally nothing. And sometimes the bash is done maybe like a week after school starts, just depending, Clayton County, Henry County. And it's like, dang, sometimes. So they went to school that first week of school and they didn't have anything. So it kind of just makes you feel good. Like I'm glad I was able to, give that family something for them to, take on. And it helps me because I'm like, okay, now they'll know, about the back to school bash next year. Because I don't want to just keep doing it and no one's coming, obviously. And so for me, with my back to school bashes, yes, it's about service. It's about, being able to get to my community, well, my Clayton County community, because I don't live in Clayton County, but Clayton County community. But also, you never know who you touch. You never know the people that you come across to. And so I asked you guys to tell me about your service project that changed you, because mine was when I was in AmeriCorps during my undergraduate year, and we volunteered at this place called Youth Villages. I'm not sure if y'all heard of it, but Youth Villages, they house kids, I think it's families. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Youth Villages host families or just kids?
You
struggle with mental health.
Youth that struggle with mental health, yes. And we were able to, we like painted, we kind of got their area together. We were able to paint some of the buildings. We didn't hang around much, we didn't get to hang around a lot of the kids, but it was just interesting to me because these students, these kids are sent there, away from their home, away from their family. So the fact that we were able to try to make their homes a little bit better at that moment, it just really touched me because like I said, you really don't realize how good you have it until you see other people and the lesson they have. And so for me, that kind of changed my whole perspective because not saying I'm selfish or anything, but I really took my life for granted. Before I got AmeriCorps, I took, everything that my parents given me for granted, and not in like a bougie kind of way. Like I know I'm blessed. I know I was blessed, growing up. But at the same time, I know if I needed anything, my parents could get it, and those kids didn't have that same situation, and that kind of changed my perspective on just service as a whole. And then lastly, the last thing that kind of changed my perspective on service, go back to my undergraduate career, I was able to join Alpha Phi Omega National Service Fraternity, and that just whole experience of just being around like-minded people that understand service and understand the importance of service and just being a servant leader, to me was really important because, like I said, growing up, I knew I was blessed. But a lot of times when you get into your certain friend groups or whatever, everyone has a different mindset, and I started to realize that some of the people that I was hanging around with did not have the same mindset as me. I would try to get some people to go to service projects, and they're like, on a Saturday at 7, you're lying. And I'm just like, 2-3 hours out your day to help somebody, and you don't feel like that's worth it, okay. So finding, Alpha Phi Omega National Service Fraternity was really important to me, and really it just boosts, my momentum to do service because they hold me accountable. When you're in any organization, sorority, fraternity, or whatever, I want to feel like the people that's in that organization are supposed to lift you up, and encourage you to do more for the community. So just having them around and having them, with that same mindset of doing service was really important for me, especially graduating because I did cross my senior year, so I was on my way out. But just having that support system to do service, and every time I need them for AK coverage or every time I need them for a back school bash, all my volunteers are almost either Alpha Phi Omega or AmeriCorps because, I already know that those people have my back. So that kind of sums up my undergraduate life at Clayton State, how I got to service now as AmeriCorps Director, and how service is still, in my life, how I want to make sure that I implement service in everything I do, just life in general. If y'all got any questions, I would love to answer them. But if you don't, it's okay. We still got giveaways. 2 minutes. Yeah,
What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned so far from your nonprofit?
Ooh, biggest lessons I learned so far from my nonprofit is that I am not business savvy, and I need a lot of patience with working in the service field, because a lot of times you want to do so much and you want to give so much, and sometimes people are going to say no. There's a lot of times I try to collab with different organizations and they just simply don't want my help. And it frustrates me sometimes because I'm like, I want to do all these great things. But I had to learn how to negotiate. I had to learn how to make business decisions because, like I said, like AK Coverage has a service aspect, but also it has a platform where I'm able to give other people the chance to promote their business, which is, it brings me money. So I have to make business decisions on like what is worth it at the end of the day. But it is a nonprofit, so my main, goal is service. So I just had to learn how to basically become a business person, and I don't really like doing business stuff. So I'm okay.
When starting your nonprofit, how were you able to overcome a fear that there might be failure?
I still do. Like, I kind of have to remember like my purpose. What the heck was I about to say? Like refocus my purpose. My purpose in AK coverage was to give people the opportunity to showcase what they do and also serve my community. And sometimes, like I said, like people will say no, or people won't let you have a location for an event that you want to have, or maybe like funds, like sometimes when they're able to afford a certain location for an event, and it's like, you know, I wish I could do everything, and sometimes I feel defeated because I can't. And then I have to remember, I'm only 4 years in, and as long as I keep going and stay committed and dedicated to my goal, it's gonna pay off. And at the end of the day, that's why I love my back to school bash, because after every back to school bash, no matter how stressful it is, leading up to it, during, at the end, I always feel like I did something good. And that's kind of what keeps me going, because like I said, service is really my main goal. And so after that, it just, you know, it really, I don't know. I mean, of course it warms my heart, but like it helps me refocus my purpose, because I remember what I did it for, who I did it for. So, any other questions before I give a question? Before I give away? No?
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you.
You
Okay,
got a lot
I do. Oh.
I'm just going to say one more thing. You received a lot of questions from folks asking you about your nonprofit or your nonprofit business. How did you actually go about starting your nonprofit business for those that's interested?
Okay, so I started it because I realized I didn't want to do broadcasting anymore. And I realized I wasn't getting the internships or the jobs that I wanted in the media field. And so I said, I'm just gonna make my own way and see what happens. I'm really heavy on everything happens for a reason, so I feel like all those no's that I got when applying to all those different news stations kind of like led me to creating AK coverage, because not only am I able to do media the way I want to do it, it's a business, so I'm making money off it, so that's always great. So I kind of just started with that in mind and figuring out what I want to do in media, figuring out how I can make money from it, because at the end of the day, bills got paid. I don't want to keep putting out money and not getting paid for stuff, but still like do what I love to do, because who really wants to wake up every morning and not like what they do, you know? And that's like, I would hate to do that. So I kind of started that with the mindset of doing media the way I want to do, and like, of course, service. Purpose of AK coverage is to give people that platform to showcase their business, showcase what they do, all that good stuff. So started with that, and then I just really, with the support of my family and my friends, because you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. I don't care how many entrepreneurs tell you, it's just them. That's not true. I can't do anything with AK coverage by myself, but interview the person. That's it. So like all my events, or even just like if I'm interviewing one person, I still need people to help me, like camera people. I still need people to help me set up stuff, because I don't do the behind the camera stuff. So I still need help with that, or I still need, I don't know, hair and makeup, I always need help. And then especially with the big events like the back to school bash, it does not work if I don't have volunteers. It will not work. But yeah, that's a good question, Mr.
Thank you. All righty. If we could please give Ms. Ashley Kekula a round of applause for our presentation.
Thank you. That's it. Oh, great. Wow, that's it. That's it. Oh, did you want me to say something? Oh. Thank you. Woo!